Alex Eubank with Togi, now known as Tobanks, or in some cases, Algae, they got together to talk about God. Alex is trying his best to convert Togi to find Jesus. And so in today's video, we're going to find out, can you have pleasure without pain? Light without darkness? Joy without sorrow? Good without evil?
And that's where I started seeing you a bit, and then I started seeing your content a bit, and I think like the first main ones I saw on your channel was like the gear edits.
And so look how excited Togi is upon hearing that Alex Eubank was following his content. He'd been following him, watching him do collabs with Brandon Clark, and he remembers the podcast known as Gearheads.
I'm not really into it as much anymore. Like the short form content just... I don't know. I prefer making long-form content.
Remember, the long-form content, that's what pays the bills. Guys can have hundreds of millions of views in short form, but it doesn't pay nearly as well. But if you have the gift of gab and you can entertain an audience the way Togi can for hours on end, well, you're going to make the money.
It's a lot more fun. I get to know the audience gets to know me a lot better than just like me, taking Trent on camera and working out.
The problem is, however, you're promoting gambling, steroids, drug abuse, girls, and so kind of not a man of God. These are polar opposites, but in this case, do opposites attract?
I've been watching Eubanks since I was 18.
See, that's wild to me.
And Alex is thinking, this is wild to me. Here I am preaching the good word of the Lord, and you're a fan. And so Alex Eubank, what he enjoys most is spreading the word of the Lord. He's very passionate about this, and imagine how good it would feel if he could positively influence Togi. And of course he wants to do this, and that he should. Togi, in my opinion, has been on a downward spiral. Yeah, he's making hella bank, but he's blasting it all at the casino, gambling on Plinko. That coupled with sniffing creatine, using and abusing steroids, and the horrendous blood work he got, well, perhaps it's Alex's mission to save Togi.
When did you hop on exactly?
Actually, yeah, my birthday was like 5 days ago. So yeah, like exactly a year ago, hopped on.
And so happy birthday, Togi. His birthday was 5 days ago, and he's been on steroids for 1 year, just 1 year, and already done 3 cycles. Each cycle has gotten progressively worse. And the first 2 cycles, he put on about 45 pounds of muscle. Literally, he explains he got his dream physique. And so since that time, he now is just like, yeah, if I train, I train. If I don't, I don't. I go on benders. I'm having hell of a good time. And so all I have to do, well, here's the secret. You take a shitload of steroids, you go to the gym if you feel like it, and you have your dream physique. And so if that doesn't sound like a promotion for steroids, then, well, I don't know what is.
I loved the hard style, loved the aesthetics era, thought, you know, Eubanks, David Lade, Skywalker. I thought that all that shit was so cool, and that's what I wanted.
And so think of it. If in the majority of my videos, I was showing Coach Greg higher than last time, partying to all hours of the night, using steroids and saying, I hardly even work out. I don't even ride bikes, but yet look at my physique. I party away, I'm sniffing creatine, I'm doing all kinds of bad things. Gambling my money away, but it's fun. Would that not promote other people to perhaps be like Coach Craig? What else am I going to do? I don't even follow my cookbook. I just eat fast food all the time. Yet I look like this. You'd be thinking, I want to use steroids. It seems like a great time, but instead of that, what do? Half my videos are about Meg Gizertel and others, guys like Togi, talking about the dangers of performance-enhancing drugs. I'm going over their blood work, explaining how they're not healthy, and hopefully undoing some of the damage that other guys who are glorifying promoting steroids are doing.
If I posted that shit, it would be 95% like juiced up.
Juiced up?
Like, yeah, that my audience loves steroids.
Yeah. And so Togi's like, look, 95% of my audience would prefer the juiced up steroid monster characters. They love steroids. And so if you had to choose between a svelte 170 pounds aesthetics and 225 pounds of mass monster, they're going for the muscle.
I don't know. When I was watching you and I wanted to be jacked, it wasn't like steroids are so frowned upon, but it was more like a scary land of the unknown.
And so Togi describes the difference as this. In the last 3 years, what's happened is there's a shift in mindset, a paradigm shift, if you will. People went from being scared of steroids to now people thinking, Yeah, these people are using steroids. And so they're now desensitized to it. If you have several guys who people know are taking steroids, for example, Sam Sulik, Chris Bumstead, perhaps even Togi, and they're seeing these guys and they're thinking, well, they're still around. They may not even explain the steroids that they're on, but the fact that everyone knows they're on them, it's causing people to think, well, it's not that big a deal. If the majority of the people that you follow, or perhaps the majority of your friends are taking steroids, then you're going to say, it ain't a big deal. Everyone does steroids. Your circle of people, those who are influencing you, and in today's day and age, that circle is no longer just your closest friends. It's actually social media. And if most of the people on social media are using steroids, you're going to think that's normal. It becomes normalized. And so you then want to use steroids.
But this cycle has been chalked. Effectively wasted this whole cycle because I've just been like, I work out like 2-3 times a week. I eat whatever I want just because like I don't really care what I look like anymore.
And so think of it. The first 2 cycles, he put on 40 to 45 pounds of muscle. The third cycle, he hardly works out. He does whatever the hell he wants. He abuses steroids, but yet he still looks like this. And so what does that sound like? It's causing people to think, well, all I have to do is do a couple cycles, put on a ton of muscle, and after that, I don't even have to work out. I show up, perhaps look at the weights 2 or 3 times a week, use steroids, and I can then maintain my dream physique.
That's interesting because I feel like a lot of people who hop on gear, it's like it becomes an issue because it's like you want to keep topping it.
And so I'm more in line with what Alex is saying. The majority of people using steroids are thinking, well, if I put on 10 or 20 pounds, I'll then be happy. They gain the 10 or 20 pounds. They want 10 or 20 more. People will always want more. It's in our human nature to want to be better than last time.
A lot of people, this is going to sound like an ad, but it's like, you take steroids, and then in 6 months, I had my dream physique. It was like, yeah.
And so does that sound like an ad to you? Hey, I hopped on steroids, and in 6 months, I had my dream physique. I mean, if I'm a young person watching this, I'm thinking, why would I want to do what Coach Greg says and wait until I'm at least 25? Wait until I've stopped my natural progression. Why would I waste my young years when I can get it as fast as humanly possible as Togi's done? Togi literally says, I don't want to spend my life doing this. I want to get it right now. The faster I can get to where I want, the better.
And now it's just like I can go enjoy my life and like go on a vacation, eat, like have a nice dinner.
And so here's the problem. He can enjoy his life, but for how long? He doesn't have to waste his time at the gym. He doesn't have to train all the time. He can take several days off, eat whatever he wants, party whenever he wants, but for how long?
It used to be like chicken and rice, but now I don't care,
That's how I was, and I feel like as of the last year, I've definitely allowed my body, like I'm not nearly as shredded as I used to always be.
And so Alex describes how when he first started training, he was obsessed. He was getting up in the middle of the night to make a protein shake. He couldn't have a day off the gym. If he travels on vacation, he had to train all the time. And so what he's describing now is he has balance. But remember, Alex has millions of followers, millions of dollars. He's clearly made it. And so for other people first starting, they perhaps want to copy Alex, Eubank, or Togi. They want to emulate these guys. They want to be these guys. And so for these guys, they're thinking, I can't take a day off. They may in fact develop body dysmorphia, and they may never be happy with their physique. Now, you remember, Alex Eubank had made multiple videos saying, hey, perhaps I'm going to go on HRT, perhaps I'm going to use steroids, but he never ended up deciding to do so. And do you think perhaps that had something to do with his relationship with God? Do you not think that he thought, why would I do that? Why would I risk my health? Would God want me to do that? I'm certainly thinking he probably wouldn't. But Alex had already gotten famous. He already had millions of dollars. And so I do think it's a little bit easier for Alex. But imagine if Alex were still struggling, striving to get perhaps 10,000 followers. And he knew that if he maintained single-digit body fat or perhaps put on 20 pounds of muscle, that he too could get famous. Imagine the pressure to then use steroids. And so why do you think Togi used steroids? He explains it. I wanted to be famous. I started doing videos about using gear, and that was what got me popular.
Like, I'm kind of known for like doing all the dumb shit I do, being entertaining, like gambling and all that. But you initially blew off of looking like having like the dream physique.
And so think of it. Alex became famous for how he looks, for having the Greek god, the aesthetic physique. What if he couldn't have achieved that physique by being natural? And remember, I have suggested in the past that he perhaps used MK677, that he perhaps wasn't natural as a teenager. And so did that in fact propel him to where he is right now? And did he since then go natural?
I remember I got my testosterone levels checked, and this, like, I'm natural, and I got tested. It was at 215.
I remember that. Are you
single
still
digit
low?
probably 3 months ago, and I was at, I believe, 600.
And so consider this. He used to be in the 400 and 600s and then crashed, dieted, and remained too lean. His testosterone levels went down to perhaps 200, 215. And since that time, do you remember that video? I believe his testosterone went up to 900 plus. 900 plus. And what did I say he perhaps was taking? Clomiphene. It's not a steroid. You can't use it for sports. If you're drug tested, you would in fact fail the drug test. And so was Alex actually natural? I'm going to argue that if he did in fact use clomiphene, that he was not natural. And what is he at right now? 600. And so how do you in fact go from perhaps in the 400s, 600s, dieting down into the 200s, and then suddenly getting up to over 900? Remember, I'm on HRT, 140 milligrams a week, and I've never been over 900. Never been over 900. And so Alex Eubank's testosterone levels, are you going to convince me that by being 100% natural, it went from 215 to well over 900 while being natty without taking anything? Remember, he's now back down to 600. And so perhaps 600 for Alex, that is his actual natural status. And so I would venture to say Alex is natural right now. But I personally believe that in his teenage years, he used something. I don't know exactly what it was. Perhaps it was MK677. And since that time, he then went on to use clomiphene, but then decided to go off and said, hey, enough of this. I found God. God doesn't want me to take performance-enhancing drugs. And so he is now 100% natural. Remember, he's only around 25 years of age, I'm going to guess. Should he be at his natural genetic limit already at 25? Has Alex put on a significant amount of muscle since the age of, let's say, 20? If you look back at Coach Greg, from the age of 10, I started training, all the way up into my 30s, I was putting on muscle. I was slowly adding on muscle year after year. And so if you're actually 20, 22 years of age, and you think you're close to your natural genetic limit, I'm here to tell you you're not. And so you should continue to improve. And so if you're not improving, it's perhaps because you decided to use steroids, SARMs, peptides, and so on at too young of an age. And so please wait until you're older than last time.
The biggest thing that's always swayed me away from, like, first, I hate needles. Like, I know that's like probably like people might think that's just like cap. I don't like needles. Like, I hate getting my blood taken.
Clomiphene isn't a needle. MK677 isn't a needle. SARMs are typically not needles. They're in oral form. And there are a host of steroids, for example, Anavar, T-Ball, Superdrol, that are not needles. And so to say, I didn't want to use a needle, it's not evidence to say you're natural.
Like, you're older, like, 30s, and it starts crashing. I'm not opposed to doing like 130 whatever milligrams, whatever how it works, like a week.
It doesn't go down that fast. Perhaps in your 40s, it's going to go down maybe 1% a year. But you shouldn't typically see somebody drop by, say, 20 to 50% suddenly in a matter of years. If you have, absolutely go and see your doctor. I partnered with Transcend. You can get your blood work taken with Transcend. They have doctors that can prescribe HRT if you need it. They also have peptides. And so if you're looking for a professional way to get HRT, if you need it, click the link in the description.
I feel like a lot of kids will try to use that as an excuse now, and then it usually will, like, it's like a gateway drug. I feel like it could be.
So are SARMs or orals or peptides or anything. Once you start injecting something, it's absolutely a gateway drug. Now, if your friends are taking HRT, but it's not prescribed by a doctor, they're taking steroids. It's not HRT if you suddenly self-diagnose and say, I'm going to do a low dose of testosterone. That is not HRT. HRT involves having a prescription from a doctor that deems it necessary for you to do so. It's not you deciding my testosterone levels are only 400, 300, 600, and I want them to be optimal. I want it to be 1,000. That is not HRT. That is steroids. And so don't go around saying you're on HRT if you don't have a prescription.
Everything you put in your body affects, like, even if it's not steroids. I've been lucky enough to be able to take it in as safe of a way as I can.
I mean, is he being sarcastic right now? He says sometimes he's being sarcastic. He was joking. Is this a joke? Does anyone out there, raise your hand, think that Togi took steroids in a safe way? 0 hands on that day were raised. Told you, you're not doing it in a safe fashion. How are you being safe? Is this a joke? Do we have to go to the blood work? Show me the blood work. And so he did. And guess what? It looked awful. It was atrocious. If that's a safe way to do steroids, then I want to use them the dangerous way.
My lifestyle, a lot of people are like, how is Togi alive? How is he sustaining this? I'm probably one of the least degenerate out of all my college friends. Like those kids, I was the bitch of the group.
He's the bitch of the group? They're going 10 times worse? Man, I must be old because in my day, this would have been the worst of the worst. In university, you kidding me? How are you guys passing?
Thrown in my face more now that I like post about it on the internet and people watch it. They're like, oh, like you're influencing these kids. But I'm not like here to influence people.
Yeah, I'm not here to influence kids, you know. I just influence kids.
Well, I've a couple times I've said take steroids, but that was more of like a sarcastic.
And so when I said, you know, take steroids, I'm being sarcastic.
And I'm being sarcastic.
When I say that steroids make you feel 10 times better than when you're not on steroids, it's pure sarcasm. I'm not saying to do anything. I don't influence people. I just do shit. And people copy me. That's what influencing is. An influencer is a person who is regarded as an expert within their particular field that also has a steady following. Well, I guess he's an expert at sniffing creatine, at losing all his money at gambling, and at using steroids in a healthy fashion. Influencers have the ability to uplift, inform, and encourage young people to adopt positive beliefs and habits through their platforms. Positive beliefs and habits. As a result, they are extremely important in forming the leaders and change agents of the future. And so imagine, this is a leader and change agent of the future. Looking bad for our future. However, social media influencers can also have a negative impact on society. Well, oh my goodness, tell me I couldn't have thought of that. Thanks, ChatGPT. Many influencers suffer from anxiety, depression, and burnout because of the pressure to maintain their image online. And so you don't think that guys like Alex Eubank and Togi feel the pressure to maintain their image online? Imagine not feeling that pressure. Once you get that kind of dopamine from having that many followers, millions of followers, millions of dollars, do you really think you want to let it go? Do you know how hard that is?
But I don't think you can hold people like myself or Sulik or the Trent twins responsible to any degree.
Any responsibility, as in a zero, none, nada, zero. Do you really think it's none, that you have no impact whatsoever?
When you look at like the responsibility ladder, you have to just like effectively blame it on the user entirely.
Alex Eubank and then Togi, Sam Sulik, Chris Bumstead, and are they not on the ladder somewhere? And then perhaps there's another ladder over here and Alex Eubank says, hey, do it natural, stop doing this. You don't need to do it. And then perhaps I see a Coach Greg video, don't take it. Mike Israetel had crippling anxiety. And then they watch a Mike Israetel video saying, I want to rip apart animals. I don't want to take it anymore. Do you not see how people either are responsible for people to stop taking steroids and others to take it? You're somewheres on the ladder.
Sometimes like it just doesn't work out, and that's natural selection. If I died at a young age because of my poor decisions, like that was self-inflicted.
Just because it's self-inflicted doesn't mean it didn't stem from someone else. And I don't think that it's all positive experiences. Hey, I abused drugs when I was a kid. It's all positive experiences. Does it all look positive? When you're gambling your life savings away playing Plinko because you can't stop, when you're addicted to drugs, you go from one drug to the next. Does it sound like it's all positive, or does it all sound negative?
My biggest concern why I speak against it so much is just because I know like a lot of these kids are just going to crash out and then you either regret it, and I don't know, I feel like people take it for the wrong reasons.
It's always the wrong reason. What's the good reason? The good reason to take steroids is your doctor recommends it because you have low levels of testosterone. That is the good reason. The doctor tells you to do it. Any other reason is a bad reason. Oh, I wanted to win the Mr. Olympia. Bad reason. Oh, I wanted to be famous on Instagram. Bad reason. How are those good reasons? All the reasons are bad. It's just how you justify it in your own head. Some people are going to say, Greg, you're an idiot. Sam Sulik took steroids, but look how many followers he has. He's clearly justified. He made it. He has so much money. Chris Bumstead, 5-time Mr. Olympia champion. He clearly should be taking steroids because look how good he looks. Is that really the reason to do so? What about the expense of their health? Do you really think Chris Bumstead's going to sit there perhaps at 40 years of age and think, I won 6 Mr. Olympia titles. I'm not healthy. I lost my health. I now have all these problems, but it was worth it. Do you think Mike Israetel, when he's 48 years of age, is going to look back and think, I'm so glad I went for that pro card. If only I'd had a 10. Do you really think he's going to say that? Or do you think he's going to say, Wish I'd listened to Coach Greg. I should have gave up steroids, stayed on HRT, and been healthy. Which do you think makes more sense?
I think it stems from for a lot of kids taking it now, I think it stems from a bigger issue on their own self of them actually being potentially insecure of their physique.
Whether the kids get on steroids because they want to get bigger or they have underlying issues with perhaps mental health, body dysmorphia, or being envious or competitive with their friends in terms of how strong and big they are, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Even The Rock knows it doesn't matter, but yet The Rock is on steroids. How many of you think The Rock is natural? And so it's all fun and games while he's making blockbuster movies and doing wrestling and so on. But what happens if The Rock dies? At 55, are you then going to think, oh, wow, maybe The Rock shouldn't abuse steroids. Maybe he should have retired, stopped, and went down to his felt 220 pounds of muscle rather than 285.
Took years for you to build your physique that you, like whatever your best physique was. You don't think that means anything to you on your deathbed? Like it took years of your life of dedication.
I think Togi has a point, thinking it took years of dedication to get that dream physique. I think that people would be proud of that perhaps on their deathbed. But Togi, you did it in 6 months. You're not going to be proud of that. When you're 60 or perhaps you're only 40 if you make it that far, and you're thinking, wow, look at all the accomplishment I did. I got my dream physique in 6 months taking steroids. I'm so proud of that. Do you really think you're going to be more proud of that than thinking, I trained for 20 years natural. It wasn't until I was in my 30 that I used steroids. So for example, when I'm on my deathbed, I'm sure I'm going to be proud of the things that I did natural. I'm going to think, yeah, I ended up using steroids. That was stupid. I should have done that. But I'm going to be thinking, at least I competed in 42 shows natural before I used steroids. At least I did it as long as I possibly could. I didn't take a shortcut in my teenage years or in my early 20s, as most kids are doing right now. I waited. I hit my natural genetic limit. At least I waited until my brain was finished developing. But if you're literally laying there dying on your deathbed and you're only 40, and the reason you're dying is because you took steroids, you're going to be thinking, what the Kirk was I thinking? I'm so stupid. You'd be thinking, why did I do this? If I only could get my life back, I would do it again. I wouldn't have done it.
Having a good physique benefits a man's life in such a dramatic fashion that it's not just big muscles. Yeah. Now you can do cool things for your family and all this.
Yeah, having a good physique, as in a healthy physique, it's absolutely going to benefit you. But you don't need to have massive muscles. You don't need to be 220 pounds of muscle. That is ridiculous. But if you're healthy, if you have perhaps 15% body fat, people can tell that you take care of your health. For example, you go to the gym and lift weights 2 or 3 days a week, you do your cardio, you put the fork down, you're healthy, people are going to respect that. Look at that guy. He's the healthy guy. He doesn't abuse steroids. He's healthy. But in comparison, you're Jack 225. What are they going to say? Steroids. Do you really think that people have so much respect for you because you're on steroids? Or do you not think that all they care is about that you're healthy?
I want to do everything in my life as fast as I can. It like bugs me that I couldn't take my mom on a vacation or this and that.
And so do you really think his mom is thinking, oh my God, my great, amazing son, he took me on that vacation. He's only 20. And how did he do that? From taking steroids. Do you think his mom cares about the vacation that he was able to bring her on? Or do you think his mom would want him to live longer? Which do you think they would choose? I certainly know my parents would rather have me here for a long time rather than a short time doing everything. What impresses them is everything else that you've done in their life. I'm sure that if I were to ask my parents, are you proud of the fact that you use steroids? They would say, I'm proud of the fact that you stopped. Not that you got on them. Yeah, you did all those things, those mistakes, but I'm proud that you stopped and that you're making videos trying to encourage other people to not follow in your footsteps.
I feel if I'm not getting there as fast as I possibly can, I feel almost like a loser, like I'm wasting my time.
And so Togi needs a psychologist. I'm just telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. The guy needs a psychiatrist. He needs to go over these feelings. Why do you think you need to do it so quickly or that you're a loser? You're not a loser. I never, ever felt like a loser when I was natural. Ever. Even if I didn't win the competition, I felt like a winner. I'm thinking, I did it natural. That guy that beat me, the guy that beat me in the overall, he wasn't natty. I was natty and I knew it. And so even if I lost, I still felt like a champion.
Because you're using the argument that it's going to get you there quicker. When to be honest, I don't think that's the truth.
No, you can't. Steroids literally get you there quicker. You really think that Chris Bumstead would have won 5 Mr. Olympia titles by now and done it quicker without the steroids? No, I'm pretty sure that using steroids got him the muscle he needed a lot quicker. And so Togi, he did it quicker from using steroids. Without the steroids, could he have gotten the same amount of muscle? Maybe, but it would have perhaps taken him 10 extra years.
Some people, if you really are do things right, I think you can get there quicker.
No. If Chris Bumstead or Togi hadn't used steroids and they ate perfectly, slept perfectly, did everything perfectly, they're not getting their dream physique quicker than if they used and abused steroids. Sorry. I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I give you the truth. Remember, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to make a video and say, hey, you can get to your dream physique quicker if you don't use steroids by doing this and doing that. No, you can't. I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't think that's the case. Like some people, if you really do things right.
But what does right mean? Like what's your definition of doing it right?
Well, before I listen to Alex's definition, I'll tell you, Togi, doing it right means doing it healthy, without using steroids, without using banned and illegal drugs that are banned in your country. And so if your country says, hey, steroids are illegal, and you're 20 years old and you start using steroids before your brain's even done developing, and you haven't even reached your natural genetic limit, when you still have newbie gains to get, that is doing it in a stupid fashion.
Doing it right is not only just thinking about yourself, but thinking about others along the way. So in a sense, trying to be selfless. And
so Alex has a great point saying, well, a smart way to be, it would be to not be so selfish, to not think I'm going to get my dream physique in 6 months, which then encourages other young people to do the same. They see how fast you got those gains, the fact that you're glorifying steroids, and they're then going to want to hop on it. And so on that ladder of influence, you're certainly up there. You're saying you have no responsibility, that you have nothing to do with it, that the buck stops at the person. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. You have a lot to do with the influence on other people who are watching your channel.
So I feel like there's an ethical way. Not to say that, because I'm not trying to say like my way was better or not.
And so he doesn't want to say whether his way is better or not when we of course know that it is. Alex, if you did it natural, it's a better way. Now remember, Alex is saying he's 100% natural. And he doesn't want to say his way is better than him or not, but he is in fact saying, hey, you did it with steroids, I did it without. So what do you think he means? Read between the lines. He's saying, Togi, it's better to not use steroids. Do it the ethical way. Be natty.
But it goes back to the original argument. Like I said, one of the big reasons I hopped on was to be famous, but it was also like I always wanted to be famous. I always wanted to take steroids.
And so there you have it. Just because you love sniffing creatine, gambling, taking steroids, and so on, doesn't mean that you should glorify it by making videos. People are going to do what they're going to do. But if you make videos and you make it cool to do these bad things, other people are going to want to copy you. Do you get that? Do you understand it now?
Greg Doucette just posted a video about me, about how like I'm on the verge of death. And a lot of people see that stuff and it's like, oh, okay, like maybe I don't want to take steroids.
So he's saying, see, posting these blood work videos, you know I'm doing my part. You're not doing your part. I am. Whatever you think you are, I am. And so I'm taking your videos and explaining to people that this is a bad thing. You're glorifying steroids, saying that, hey, I'm doing it in a healthy environment. I'm floating near the sun, but I'm mitigating the damages. I'm taking metformin and telmisartan and other compounds, and so I'm good. It's lowering all the dangers. I'm doing it in a safe way. No, you're not. I saw your blood work. Your blood work's horrendous. And so unless you get guys like me making videos about guys like you, the people are being shown all the good and none of the bad. Now, I must say, I do agree with him to some extent because watching him lose his life savings on gambling, it kind of makes me think people are going to watch that and think gambling is bad. And so he is showing the good and the bad and the ugly of gambling. The bad side of gambling is you lose all your money. That's how it's meant to be. That's how the game plays. That's how it works. It's rigged so that you lose. And so when people see you lose all your money, it helps people to realize don't copy Togi. Don't gamble. But the rest of it, partying, sniffing creatine, taking steroids, and having the dream physique without hardly even going to the gym and eating junk food, well, that is being a positive influence on people taking steroids. My videos, they come along and it's the yin to the yang. It's your opposite, the good to the evil, the W to your L. And remember, if you're interested in doing this natural, including Alex Eubank and or Togi, we have Geo2 Max and Turk Builder. They're the #1 and 2 best sellers. They sell more than everything, and it's because people are getting results. Enter code Greg to save yourself 15% off. Click the link in the description. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. If you like the video, please give it a like. And as always, the cookbooks, the Circle Diet book, the training books, coaching plans by me and my team. If you have no money, get to the website, get the free diet and training program. It's close to 30 pages. It's actually close to 50. Join the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers. And until next time, I am out.